Hey there. February can be a really tough month for writers. That big New Year energy has kind of worn off, and spring still feels like a long way away. So, for this explainer, we're going to get a shot of inspiration from four absolute literary legends who were all born this month: John Grisham, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, and the one and only David Foster Wallace. If you're a writer, you know this feeling, right? That blank page. It just seems a little colder, a little more intimidating when it's gray outside. It's so easy to feel like you've completely run out of gas, or even worse, that you've lost the discipline to see your ideas through. But what if we could borrow a little bit of fire from the greats? Well, that's what we're going to do. We've dug into the wisdom of these four authors and boiled it down to three core pillars that can really support any writing practice. Let's start with the absolute bedrock of the whole thing. First up, discipline. Yeah, I know, not the sexiest word, but it is the absolute foundation of a writing life. It's not about waiting for genius to strike like lightning. It's just about showing up. But as you're about to see, showing up can look really, really different. And right here, you see two totally different paths to the same goal. On one side, you've got the ultimate pragmatist, John Grisham. Remember, before he was a mega best-selling author, he was a lawyer. So his advice is just beautifully simple and structured. 1 page a day. That's it. It's a clear, quantifiable goal. But then, on the other side, you have the Nobel laureate Toni Morrison. Her approach wasn't about a page count at all. It was a ritual, this sacred time before dawn to get into a creative space. For her, it was all about the state of mind. And, this wasn't some romantic, artsy thing she did. Morrison's dawn ritual was born from pure necessity. She was a single mom working a full-time job as a book editor. Those quiet, dark hours before her kids woke up, that was literally the only time she had that was all hers. Her discipline was a super practical solution to the real-world challenges of her life. And I just love this detail because it shows you the real person behind the literary icon. After she poured everything she had into her first novel, The Bluest Eye, she thanked a colleague who helped her type it up by baking her a homemade carrot cake. It's just a great reminder that discipline isn't about punishing yourself, it's about celebrating the work and celebrating the people who help you get it done. Okay, so once you've built that discipline, that ritual of showing up to the page, where do you look for guidance? What happens next? Well, that brings us to our second pillar, the search for your artistic lineage, your ancestors. And Alice Walker gives us the perfect way to think about this. You see, she didn't view writing as the separate thing you do in a lonely room. For her, it was just part of a whole balanced life. And a really big part of that life is knowing who came before you and what you can learn from them. You have to understand, for Walker, this wasn't just some casual academic exercise. It was a matter of creative survival. As she was finding her own voice, she looked around and realized the models she was given in school, mostly white male authors, they just couldn't help her answer her most burning question. How do you create art when your history, your very identity, has been systematically silenced? And this search led to one of the most powerful, almost mythical stories in American literature. This was an active physical quest. She gets on a plane, travels to Florida, all to find the unmarked grave of Zora Neale Hurston, a genius of the Harlem Renaissance who had pretty much been forgotten. I mean, can you just picture it? Alice Walker wading through this overgrown cemetery, literally calling out Zora's name, and then finding her. When she bought that headstone, she wasn't just honoring an ancestor. She was reclaiming an entire literary lineage and bringing a voice back to life for all of us. Which leads us perfectly to our third and final pillar, the one that really fuels everything else: purpose. The big why. Why are you even doing this in the first place? Why are you sitting down to write? And we're back to Toni Morrison for what is, quite possibly, one of the most motivating pieces of writing advice ever. This totally reframes writing as an act of absolute necessity. You're not just telling a story for fun, you are filling a hole in the universe. You are creating something vital that only you can bring into the world. And for her, this idea came from a very real, very painful place. Morrison never forgot a childhood friend who used to pray for blue eyes. Just a heartbreaking memory that showed her the deep internalized damage that racism causes. That pain became her purpose. That pain became the engine for her first novel, The Bluest Eye. She saw a story that hadn't been told, a wound that hadn't been tended to, and she knew she had to be the one to write it. Now, let's pivot to our other February master, David Foster Wallace, because he offers a different but just as powerful sense of purpose. See, if Morrison's purpose is about filling a void for the writer, Wallace is all about filling a void for the reader. He truly believed that great fiction was one of the only real antidotes we have to the crushing loneliness of modern life. He used to tell his students to forget write what you know. Instead, he'd say, write what you would love to read. This simple switch changes everything. It means writing isn't just about you expressing yourself. It's a gift you are giving to someone else. It's about capturing a hidden thought or a complicated feeling so perfectly that a reader somewhere feels seen, feels understood, and maybe, just maybe, feels a little less alone. For Wallace, that connection, that was the whole point of art. So there you have it. The how, the who, and the why. These aren't just some abstract concepts, right? These are the real interlocking blocks you need to build a writing life that's not only productive, but also deeply meaningful. So let's just quickly recap the 3 pillars. First, discipline. You've got to find your own method. Are you a Grisham with a daily page count or a Morrison with a sacred dawn ritual? It doesn't matter which, just build a consistent practice. Second, ancestry. You have to be an active seeker like Alice Walker. Go find your models. Find the voices that will help you find your own. And third, purpose. Define your mission. Are you writing the book that you need to read, like Morrison, or are you trying to forge that deep connection with a reader, like Wallace? And the beautiful thing is, these 3 pillars all support each other. Your purpose fuels your discipline. Your purpose guides your search for ancestors. So as we wrap up this explainer, the real question isn't just which of these amazing writers inspires you. The question is, looking at your own writing life right now, which one of these pillars do you need to start building on next?